Hey, good morning, it's Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. I've been wanting to do this blog for a while now, especially with all that's been going on in Vancouver real estate over the last 3 or 4 months with the foreign buyers tax, the vacancy tax, real estate prices at sky high levels, the animosity towards foreign buyers and offshore buyers buying up Vancouver real estate. And this is targeted towards everyone, but especially younger people, millennials. I've got a lot of younger people that watch my blog here. And I want to make sure that people are filtering who they're listening to. And this is something that I started doing when I was in my late teens, when I was first starting to get into real estate and getting into stock investing. You really want to look for people that have got transparency, and it's tough these days with the internet, a lot of these anonymous bloggers that are out there. I would strongly urge people to start filtering who you're listening to. There is a lot of bad advice out there. There is a lot of information out there that is just completely made up, both as far as Vancouver real estate goes and stock investing for that matter as well. So you really want to start filtering who you're listening to. Look for people that have got transparency. I'd like to think I've got transparency. That was one of the reasons why I did this blog. The nice thing about video is it doesn't lie, and you can go back into my archives and look at what I was saying 3, 4, 5 years back. You can't change video. You can change text though, that's for sure, written blogs. So start filtering the people that you're listening to. Build a database of people that are trusted, have got transparency. You've got to start that at a young age. Now, I say that too because I get a lot of comments on my YouTube blog. And listen, I do this blog, I don't sugarcoat anything. I'm not towing some line that some people seem to think that I've got to tow a company line from my brokerage, or I use real estate math, which certainly isn't the case. I don't have to answer to anyone. I'm self-employed, and trust me, I don't use this blog to sell my listings or anything else. This is a pay it forward thing for me to help people understand how real estate works. And the real focus of this blog has always been the mindset, the investor mindset that you need to become successful financially. It's buying and holding quality assets like real estate and stocks for the long term. It's really a simple formula, but so few people are able to do correctly. And the comments I get in my YouTube blog, often I can tell they're talking about, Vancouver real estate's due for a crash, and I'm going to wait for the market to crash and then buy back at much lower prices. That's up to you. Again, you're going to be a market timer there. It's very difficult to do. My recommendation would be to systematically buy assets, whether it's real estate or stocks, hold them for long periods of time and reinvest the cash flows. It's a simple rinse and repeat process. So but I do welcome your comments. As long as you're not using profanity or racial slurs or anything else, your posts will be held there. And but the other thing too is that I'm not going to get into bandying back and forth on a lot of the comment sections. Sometimes I'll address people's questions in the comments area, but I let my videos do the talking. There isn't really anything more I can add to it. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, I'm totally comfortable with that, and you're more than welcome to post your disagreement with what I'm having to say here. Now, finally, I wanted to close it out. This is something I've wanted to do for a while. As a lot of people know, in Vancouver real estate as an investor for 25 years now. I've been a stock investor for almost 30 years now. It'll be 30 years next year that I bought my first stock. And I've been an avid reader. I've always been a big believer in getting better, trying to get better every day, every week. And a lot of that is reading. A lot of it now too is on the internet, but I've read hundreds and hundreds of business books over the years. So a lot of people have asked me, what are some of the books that I would recommend? What are some of my core or mandatory books that I would suggest everybody read? So here it is, and I'll post it down below in the text underneath this video blog here. So this is probably part one. I'll probably do another one maybe next year because there's a lot of great books out there. But I thought I'd start with the core reading list that everyone watching my blog here should read if you're looking to achieve financial success, invest your money, get your money working for you, retire comfortably, or even retire early. First one, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This is the Bible. This is the book that I read when I was probably 18 years old that had a profound impact on me. I bet if you were to ask 100 Fortune 500 CEOs to list their top 5 or 10 books, this would probably be on 90% of their reading list. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It'll teach you how to think like an investor and not a speculator. How to buy and hold quality assets. Don't worry about the short-term doom and gloom that is always out there, just like we've got now in Vancouver real estate. You know, all the stuff that's going on now, it seems like it's going to be a tsunami that's going to hit us. But I can tell you, 20 years from now, we'll look back on what's gone on in the summer of 2016, and it'll look like a little lapse of water at your feet when you're walking along the beach. It's not going to be a tsunami. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It'll teach you how to think like an investor, how to get your money working for you passively. There's only so many hours in the day that you can work. You've got to get your money working for you. The two best ways to do that are with real estate first and foremost, and with good dividend-paying stock down as second. The Snowball by Warren Buffett. Any book on Warren Buffett I would strongly recommend. The Snowball encapsulates a lot of what Warren Buffett is about, his value investing, how to buy a stock, what he looks for in a stock. You got to understand the companies you're buying, and that's why he holds companies like Procter & Gamble and Johnson & Johnson and IBM and Apple. Those are the kind of companies that you want to own. Wide competitive moats, massive free cash flows. Anything on Warren Buffett. The Millionaire Next Door, another book that I read at a very young age. I was probably still a teenager when I read this book, early 20s. It probably sold 10 or 15 million copies, this book, over the years. It'll teach you how to pay yourself first, how to maybe live a little bit below your means, especially when you're in your accumulation stage, when you're in your 20s and 30s. If you can take some of these ideas from this book, pay yourself first, live a little bit below your means, you can live high on the hog all you want when you get into your 40s and 50s. So an excellent book on how to pay yourself first. One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch, another Bible book that if you asked 100 Fortune 500 CEOs, most of them have read this book. Some interesting things in here. One of the world's greatest stock investors, Peter Lynch, will recommend to you what should be your first step: buy your principal residence. And in most books that you'll find that when they talk about what's the first step, it's pretty much always buying your principal residence. The reason being is that they're not making land anymore. It's almost impossible to screw it up. You need a roof over your house, over your head. It's either you buy your principal residence or you pay about the same to rent. And as Peter Lynch would say in his book, you can't screw that up. It's guaranteed money down the road and a guaranteed way to start building some incredible capital gain over the long term. A Random Walk Down Wall Street by Burton McCall, another fantastic book on investing, how to think like an investor and not a speculator. Don't worry about the day-to-day market fluctuations or the Brexit or the Zika virus. There's always dark clouds on the horizon that are going to sabotage your portfolio, whether it's real estate or stock. Ignore them, buy it, hold it, go about your day-to-day activities, enjoy life. You'll build a tremendous amount of wealth. The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale, another book I think that's probably 40 years old now. It'll give you the psychology of how investors think, how winners think. What They Don't Teach You in Business, Harvard Business School by Mark McCormick, another great book on how to structure your life as an investor, buying and holding quality assets, holding them in tax-efficient ways as well. The Little Book on Common Sense Investing by Jack Bogle. It'll teach you the first step before you start buying individual stocks. I would suggest people just buy the index. Buy low-cost ETFs by companies like Vanguard or iShares. I'll talk about this in the book that I've got coming out next year. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I read this book probably 10 years ago. It was recommended me to someone. It's a book on psychology, how you're thinking, staying in the now. Athletes will call it being in the zone. It's a very interesting book and I highly recommend it. And The Power of a Dream by Peter Leahy. Peter Leahy is a local guy, a local businessman. He's in the publishing business. One of the best public speakers I have ever seen, and I have seen hundreds of them. I had the privilege of, he spoke at a couple of real estate functions over the years. This book is just a book on positive thinking, how to overcome obstacles. There's always going to be roadblocks. Investing in real estate or investing in the stock market doesn't come easy. There's going to be some bad days in there. This will kind of help you overcome a lot of that and how to think like a winner. So I'll print this list at the bottom. I hope you guys enjoy it. I think all these books, I would recommend you read all of them. I keep all of these books. I've got thousands of books in storage, but these are core reading list I always keep in my library at my house here. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.